What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 9 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Archaon the Everchosen campaign. So as we saw last time, Kuhar underwent the, blood trials of Khorne at Shangyang as his Marauder army was pitted against a pretty solid Cathian stack. He came out ahead and thus has earned the approval of Khorne and is allowed to keep his flesh hounds rather than, having them turn on him and eat him all and all his warriors alive. Happy with that. Just got to get that C-ring branding iron up and running so that we can get these guys to start being nice and cornate. In addition to that, we now have the not marauders but the Forsaken of Nurgle ready to go. So once we start fighting Hag, Grief, and Malus, we'll be doing it in a very Nurgle-y fashion as well, and probably turning a couple of these guys into a spawn of Nurgle as well, though I still haven't decided what the exact balance is gonna be, but obviously not less than 4. I still want to keep a couple of regular Marauders of Nurgle in here to act as Gulator's personal guard, but anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. In terms of what we got to do in this particular turn, Kolek still needs to move, but let me just see here. At the end of last episode, I double-checked diplomacy, and Kugeth doesn't want to fight. I mean, he still kind of likes us, but 77 peace treaty and is willing to immediately become our vassal. On top of that, since he's there, we can essentially use him to declare war on the Caravan of Blue Roses without drawing Goldtooth back into it and thus screwing over our reliability. So that's what we're gonna do. Plus, he's willing to give us all his money, apparently. It's not great, but at the same time, we'll take it. And there we go, just like that, we're at war with the Caravan of Blue Roses, and he no longer is. He's at, well, that's interesting. He's at war with the northern provinces, the Dissenter Lords of Jinshen, the Sylvanians, and Hag Grief, but he didn't immediately join the war against the Caravan of Blue Roses, which we asked to join, which is kind of curious, but I'll take it. This will allow Kolek to continue moving in, regular stance, apparently, and I guess he's gonna go, a little rebel force here. Do we care about it? I can't reach it anyway. What do we have here? Decisive victory, low casualties. I just want to double check that there isn't a full stack right below Kolek here, and I see Lothar Lichmore. A little bit on the nose in terms of the name, but I guess we'll send Archaon over there and destroy these guys. I kind of didn't want to waste extra turns going all the way over here, but we have to move around to get to the Legion of Asgore anyway, so we can do that. Now, before we get started, two things. Thing of the first is, once again, we managed to reach the engagement threshold, so we're doing an hour-long episode, and the offer still stands, 400 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will follow the hour. Next, we've got some names to add. I know I've been taking a little bit of a while to do so, but, well, for the Nurgle army at least, I wanted to wait at least a little bit until we get some actual spawn and Forsaken of Nurgle. So let's start on those. The Gurgling Gullets for you. And let's name, I don't know, let's say 4 of them. I don't know how many we're going to have in this army, so I don't want to do over much. Down with the sickness. I'm actually surprised that one fit. All right, very nice, though. all right. I think Crabominable no man. Fantastic name. All right, that one got me. Very nice. Very nice. And okay, let's do one more. Rotten Flowers for you, and then some of these might be turned into spawns, so we'll see. Speaking of the spawn, though we only have 2, I guess we can name 2. Blister Boys for you. And you can be Failed Experiments. Alright, and obviously the Failed Experiments are going to join this force as well. I also think I didn't name one of the Plague doggos, yes, hounds of decay. I actually have more plague doggo names than I have plague doggos at the current time, but obviously if we do another army of Nurgle, they'll get some plague dogs as well, though their composition will be generally different than this one. How about, what do we have here? The Rottweilers. I might actually get 2 more in this army, I'll think about it. The Rottweilers. There we go. Perfect. And you know what, while we're at it, while we're naming names, since this will be the start of this episode, let's do a few of these guys as well. We got plenty of Fleshhound names as well. In fact, similarly more than we have Fleshhounds, but, well, that'll change eventually. Kukhar's Good Boys. His army deserves some names after the performance of last battle, after all. Kukhar's Good Boys. You can be Karanax. I can't spell today. Karanax Puppies. Did they ever add Karanak? Does he get added with Scarbrand now or something? Or was that a mod? Am I thinking of a mod? I'm probably thinking of a mod. I don't know. Let's go with Bloody Fangs of Corn, if it fits. Ooh, just fit. Very nice. And lastly, let's do Corn Dogs. Alright, that one had a... that one had several suggestions, so yeah. Let's name a few of the Chaos Warriors as well, and frankly, I'm probably going to name a few of the Marauders. They can, I hope, keep their names. What happens to... well, we'll see what happens to their names once we upgrade them, as it were. You can be the Blood Angels, and we'll see if you retain the name once you become a Chosen, and then the same for you two, once you become Chaos Warriors of Corn. How about Cornflakes? And Corn... screwed that one up. Corn's show... See, I said I can't spell today. One of those days. Alright, there we go. I'm trying to go through it faster in order not to take too long and then end up making mistakes, which makes me go slower, go figure. Also, a lot of you guys have suggested the rename for Kuchar now that he's earned his name, and I like, let's see, I like Kuchar the Blood Hunter, and the best. I think it works with the doggos without being too on the nose about it. And yeah, Kuchar, Blood Hunter. We'll see whether we keep you in mortal form or in demon prince form. I kind of like this guy in mortal form because if he's gonna be using a lot of normal infantry and not a lot of demons. It could be the way to go. We'll figure it out. And then lastly, just 2 more names. Just 2 more names. I have gotten like dozens of suggestions for the 2 Chaos Giants. Let's see. Tweedledee, Tweedledum, Fee-Fi, Fo-Fum, Jeb and Ted, Mark and Tony, Kronk and Kronk, Des and Troy, etc., etc., etc. A lot of them. I'll probably give at least some of them to some other giants, but these 2, for their names, I've chosen. This one, you will be Hugin of Hate, and you will be Munin of Misery. Yeah, funnily enough, there was a Hugin and Munin suggestion in the Grimgore campaign that I believe I never ended up using because of we ran out of giant names. So I like to bring this one back as there was a similar suggestion from a different comment in this one. Plus, I think it works with them both having one eye and with the ties to Norska that we have, and that's what the comment suggested. So, a great suggestion. There we go. Alrighty, that's it for this turn. Let's end the turn and let's start working on Mr. Malus down there. We now have 21k money, which is great. Draj, what you gonna do? You want military access? No, my friend, you're not going to get military access. You're going to get a sword to the face. A Slayer of Kings, specifically to the face. But only until you're ready to be our vassal. Yeah, now with Draj, I gotta make sure not to screw this one up. We gotta make him keep another quest? What quest? Oh, the Crown of Domination, yes. The Lizardman emerged, Spirit of the Jungle, ooh. Oh, damn, that's tempting. The defeat trait for Nakai is really good, but I don't want to send Archaon all the way this way when he should go to the Empire. Hey, Draj is right there. What does he have? He has Bitter Bay, Ruins, and Pig Barter is a tower. Okay, so yeah, Pig Barter is the one where we gotta keep him to make sure that he has at least one tower. And he even has the... oh, he has magma cannons right here, the ironworks. We gotta do this right. And, oh, the Fortress of Vorag isn't a Dark Fortress? I thought it was. Okay, wait, I know there's a Dark Fortress down here. It must be down here. It must be Darkhold then. Or possibly... no, it's the Tower of Gorgoth? And I think there's another one here. Well, we'll find out in a bit once we're down there. Kugath, keep doing your thing. We still don't have this guy reviving, and oh, I forgot to have Kolek kill all this. My bad, Kolek. Helman Gorst wants peace, but we're not gonna bother. I mean... a moment. Yeah, no, he's not gonna vassalize. I was just wondering if we could possibly vassalize him with just the Haunted Forest, but no, that's alright. You stay right here, Archie. We're gonna have you take the Haunted Forest then, and then we'll loop back around to... whoa, 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 whoa. I thought that was Nakai himself, but that's not a bad army. Huh. I wonder if this army will get replaced by Nakai, because if it does, then we should hunt him down and kill him. I didn't even know that the Spirit of the Jungle could appear like this. I wish that it would say, you know how like the settlements say how many settlements there are? I wish it would say how many hordes these guys have, as that would be nice, but anyway. Archaon, go right here. Kolek will deal with you in a second. Alright, and Kolek, just attack the little rebellion, will disappear. A moment. It might actually be better to destroy the rebellion. Break siege for a second, kill the rebellion in summoning stance just for the free money and XP. We don't... yeah, we can just auto-resolve this garbage. Just a bunch of Skaven slaves and whatnot, and not even a single Dragon Ogre went down, which is as it should be. And it's very little money and souls for this. I'm almost tempted to take kill... it's only lasting 2 turns, not sacrifice captives anyway. More money, I guess. And now you can take Nobly Gorge. Auto-resolve. And that also only lost us 1, probably, Dragon Ogre. Frankly, it should have been a regular Chaos Troll that died, and not a Dragon Ogre, but whatever. Occupy. Nice. And Ether Sword. Hello. Imbuement Sundered Armor for only 30 seconds, mind you. And magical attacks. I take it the... that's not horrible. I mean, I'm not sure it's worth being a blue item, considering it's only 30 seconds, but it's not horrible. Certainly will have some uses. Not gonna repair any of this, and frankly, we'll probably trade this all to... most likely Kugath here. Though that does kind of tempt the Cathans into attacking him. How much money does Kugath make? Alright, he has that growth cycle thing. But the income generation on the regular settlements for him isn't too bad at 300, so Kugath might be worth giving some territory to. Ain't horrible is what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's see about everybody else. Azazel, is Malus coming for you? He's sitting at the Folly of Malefics, which means I think for Azazel it means that he can't leave this place until we know what Malus is doing. And what we can do, however, is have Gulator land now. Since we don't have Mr... yeah, there we go. Since we don't have Mr... Is this worth fighting? It might be worth fighting. Since, damn it, every time. Since we don't have Mr. Bellicor screwing us over. Alright, you're gonna fight this in a little bit. Because we'll probably auto-resolve the Monolith of Catan. Yeah, definitely. And definitely, but we want that Dark Fortress. So it'll be next. You are going to move up, and you're going to swap the Failed Experiments in, and then we're gonna delete you after this fight. You can reinforce a little bit to get a little bit more XP. Because we may still have use for you later on in the campaign, but obviously at, what was it, 412? It's a little bit much. Anyway, Gulator, let's max out Chaos Vanguard for those Chaos Spawn. Let's get Hordred, still not at Stench Ridden, unfortunately, but hopefully getting there. And get him hard to hit for now. Although, if anything, the Nurgle Exalted Heroes might want Deadly Blade over hard to hit, unlike the rest of them. Yeah, fine. And then stench-ridden as soon as we win this battle. All right. Finally, Pyrrhic victory. We'll see about that. In fact, it wants to kill off our poor single unit of Marauders of Nurgle. Go. All right, Gilitor. Well, hopefully everybody is prepared for the fight, and here we go. Should be a decent little fight, probably not too difficult. Call it a warm-up before fighting Malus, who I'm sure will be a considerably more fighty proposition, plus a little bit of a debut for our Forsaken of Nurgle, which we have in very large numbers now. Gotta love those insect-like eyes they have in these single or the horns that are all freaky like, rather than the regular sort of uniform horns. I noticed that they have their maces growing through their right arms, and they're all equipped with maces, interestingly enough. If anything, that feels a little bit too uniform. I kind of expected them to have more different weapons, but at least they have their claws as well, or their lobster arms. Anyway, we're going to head directly towards the enemy army. We have our Chaos Feral Manticores ready to assassinate. Our Frolicking Bubonicers are going to head out front with the Lords and Heroes, and our Doggos are going to get ready to hit the enemy in the back. We're going to distract a couple units, namely Black Ark Corsairs and some range units with our Manticores, and just so that they are focused on said Manticores and not running at the same time and exploding at the same time, or getting ripped in half, while the Doggos make it into the fray. So the flanks there are taken care of. Our hero and lord have moved in, and ooh, nice Doombolt coming down on one of the Forsaken, taking about 25% of their HP, and it looks like another spell has forced the Demon Spew to rampage. Oh well. Honestly, the fact that the Nurglings are so tiny, it always amuses me to see like regular-sized units fighting them, because they're, well, so tiny and just running around. It almost is difficult to take it seriously, but there we go. We are in a back-to-back Argulator and his exalted hero, Hordred and Demon Tamer. And give us some names for Hordred, people. I need to refer to him with a name that I actually end up remembering, as he is Gulator's personal guard. Anyway, the rest of our forces make our way into the fray. Forsaken, completely surrounding the enemy, and all the enemy range are essentially forced to blob up, being surrounded effectively from every side by our units, which means the biggest advantage the Dark Elves have are those early game Dark Shards with their armor piercing is gone. Now it's just a matter of ripping them apart with Forsaken and the Beasts of Nurgle alike. Not literal Beasts of Nurgle, but we'll have some literal Beasts of Nurgle later on. Miasma Pestilence coming down in the biggest blob of enemies as well, to make sure that even if they are still fighting, they won't be fighting very hard, and we can use that to counteract the effect of the enemy murderous prowess. So that works fairly nicely as well, in terms of saving it for it, possibly. Unfortunately, the Demon Spew, after their rampage, just did nothing. They're kind of just standing here. And they killed off a unit, and now don't move. And there's a unit right here, and they still don't move. I need some kind of anti-rampage. Would you at least take a whack at these guys who are running through? There you go. This guy's these two. At least they're doing something. But the rest of those Demon Spew look to be very confused. Anyway, with that, just about the rest of the... Oh, in fact, all the rest of the enemies are destroyed. See, our heroes are down to about half HP, but they were dueling some of the enemy Foot Lords, though, to be fair, they were a little bit too... The little back off, the tiny little steps. No, like, go away. But I expect that reaction against Nurglite units anyway. Anyway, decisive little victory for Gillator. Alright, very nice, absolutely mobbed by those piles of Forsaken, and at the same time, most of the damage taken was from the enemy sorcerers. 18k, not too bad, I would say, and we got a little bit of damage on our Lord and Hero due to fighting the enemy Black Arc Reaver and Death Hag. At the same time, this unit of Forsaken was the one that took the most damage, and it was from the spellwork. I am a little bit disappointed in that they still haven't fixed that damn rampage buff where the units sort of stay still and don't do anything once rampaging. It's kind of bizarre. They should still be attacking the nearest enemy unit rather than watching a unit walk within just like, I don't know, punching distance of them, or clawing distance, I guess, for the Forsaken, and not doing anything. Come on, Forsaken, you're better than that. Anyway, we are going to occupy the place, though 99% likelihood we're just going to trade it to Mr. Wulfric to keep getting him more powerful. And you, Valmir, for now you're going away, but there's a decent chance that you will return. And just gotta keep our money in reasonable shape so that we can build up all of these favor buildings everywhere, thereby getting more money, thereby getting more armies, etc, etc. Now, Hamathane Frost, I need you to actually do something that is not whatever this is. You're not going to travel across the entirety of the Empire to do this. The question is, who do we send you at? We could send you at MALUS. But I'm not sure that's a good use of your time. I wish we could just borrow your main stack, but alas, we cannot do that. I wonder if there's another main, there's another non-main stack. Well, I know, I don't want to bother any of the demon factions, because we can actually steal their units, as in build them via allegiance, so that seems like a waste of time. Nah, you know what, Hama, just do what you're doing. I also don't want him stealing territory and then just that being a hassle. And Gillator finally has Stench-Ridden and the Locus of Fecundity. It's only 3 uses, but that ain't too bad, and frankly, considering it's a 90-second cooldown, I'd say for most battles we'd never be able to use it anyway. Decent chance that we should probably get a second Exalted Hero of Nurgle in this army, but we'll wait. There is also, at the same time, limited number of units. Miscast base chance plus 15% for all enemy spellcasters. Winds of Magic Power Reserve plus 3. Yeah, you know what? We could use the Winds of Magic Power Reserve. And yeah, I know that we're just casting Stream of Corruption and Miasma of Pestilence right now, but Corrupt Mage first. Although, Curse of the Leper... Now, you know what? Curse of the Leper first, then Corrupt Mage, because we can pop Curse of the Leper on, like, the Frolicking Bubonicers, and that'll be helpful as they enter the fray first. Especially considering they're always the most hurt. Otherwise, if you leave, you won't heal as much, but I think it might be worth it in order to make sure that you get a little bit more mana. MALUS. We want to contest with you, but we'll wait on that. Alright, Azazel, sit where you are for now. Kuchar, you are heading to Tai Tzu to take it over temporarily. It doesn't really serve much of a purpose for us, but nonetheless. You can also get a couple levels in there. Oh, I never gave you Root Marcher. Well, that's my bad. Let's also... Nah, actually, you know what? You don't need Root Marcher for this turn. Let's give you Savage Bloodlust for your pups. There we go. Get a little bit more armor and a little bit more charge for him. And there's a decent likelihood, since he's going to be kind of a Fleshhound-themed army, we're probably going to give him a few more. Just gotta get that Burning Branding Iron as well, or Searing Branding Iron. Head to Tai Tzu, please. What do we have in terms of defenses? Is this worth fighting? Pyrrhic Victory, eh? It'll hurt us very much if we don't fight it, even if it is a relatively minor battle. And we just defeated a much stronger force of Cathans. On the other hand, we wouldn't have to be as careful this time if we actually played this. I wonder, just wait. Shrine of the Alchemist. Oh, you know what? Shrine of the Alchemist has better defenses, so I guess we could heal up a Tai Tzu, then move to Shangyang, and then up the road to Shrine of the Alchemist. By the time we get there, we should be reasonably healthy, so we'll avoid this one. This is gonna really hurt. Our doggos are gonna... No, you know what? Screw it, fight it.
Butcher them without mercy! Let them know the depths of Karnath's hate!
Alrighty, and ooh, against the night sky, that's a pretty good shot. Plus, obviously, the flowers, just for a little bit of peace before we get into combat. Anyway, it would be wrong to have a episode without Kuchar getting back into combat, as he is our second lord after Gulator. Over on the flanks here, we have our skull cannons working away, and they have already damaged the enemy Jade Lancers, or at least one of the units, taking about half of their HP off. Gotta appreciate the skull cannons. They're really quite strong in SFO, and I do like the unit. I remember them being quite devastating in a couple of battles in the early... I think it was the Kroggart campaign, although Kroggart had some intense battles in the early game against Khorne and various other factions. Anyway, these skull cannons basically destroyed the Jade Lancers, or one of the Jade Lancers, before they even entered combat, and the second one will rout, also having taken hits from the Marauder horses just as they arrived. 2 units basically destroyed, and they were one of the bigger threats on the field as well, which is quite nice. Now we can simply use the Kuchar's Good Boys and Karanak's Puppies to chase them down before sending all of these fast movers around to flank the enemy. Otherwise, it looks like a unit of Peasant Horsemen will actually charge our Marauders. They're Peasant Horsemen, however, and the damage is pretty darn minimal here. It's the Jade Lancers here that we're much more concerned about, and thus we're going to send Kuchar himself to knock a few of them down. They try to run from Kuchar, only to meet his hounds instead. Now these Jade Lancers are just as trapped as their friends were, and some Marauders of Khorne will bring up the rear to begin chasing them down. Already the Jade Lancers break, and I believe one unit of Jade Lancers remains on the field. And it looks like they're looking to charge in and possibly go after the skull cannons, which is probably the smart move. That said, they're not going to be quickly able to destroy them, and we'll simply back them out with their speed and allow the Marauders to distract the Jade Lancers instead. Alright, very nice. Very, very nice. The enemy lord is here, and we're going to try to give chase to him with Kuchar. Also going to drop that, not Flame Storm, Burning, Piercing Bolts of Burning. Whatever the army-bound ability version of the spell is called. But at least Kuchar feels right at home in all this. That's a heck of a vision with all that fire around him. Very, very nice. And he still has to go after that enemy lord, but hey, a few extra heads, a few extra skulls for Khorne of these Jade Warriors, I'm sure, is not something Khorne would complain about. Anyway, the trolls are leading the charge. They won't be in here in this army forever, I think, unless I ultimately decide to keep them in here. I'll think about that. It depends. Not that I don't like them. And the additional armor would certainly help tank a few hits for the somewhat fragile Marauders of Khorne, especially as we switch a few of them to dual axes. Unfortunately, though, the trolls will buckle under the weight of the sheer number of Jade Warriors, and we're going to move to help them out with a nice charge and getting some air on those skull cannons. Spin to win, my friends, as the rest of our units move in to surround the remaining enemies. Over in the back lines, the enemy Sky Lantern is near Sky Lanterns are in need of a few hits, so let those javelins fly and knock those lanterns from the sky. And beautiful. 2 go down, and the rest will go down shortly, I'm sure, as we get another few volleys, as they're just so fragile. And Jade Lancers running away, being chased down by Fleshhounds, and Fleshhounds being a menace all over the map, as they tend to be. And same thing with the Skull Cannons. A menace in melee against enemy regular infantry, and a menace at range. How they do in terms of kills? 103 kills on the Skull Cannon. I don't know if I'm going to keep the skull cannons in this army, but at this point I'm quite tempted to, because they've served quite well. It's sort of like Archaon's giants, who I've grown very fond of, and even though I wasn't originally going to keep them in here, I'm kind of tempted to do. Anyway, there we go. A decisive little victory and a nice showing for various of our units, but I'm sure Kuchar's battles will get harder and harder. He's been assigned the mission by Archaon to bring Village and Tzeentch to heal, and thus he's going to have a heck of a fight on his hands when he gets there, especially Village himself with all those spells flying and ripping Marauders apart. But anyway. Alright, there we go. Nothing to write home about in terms of difficulty there for that particular battle. Ooh, 24k damage on those skull cannons. They're certainly working out quite well and doing considerably more damage than a lot of the other units in the army combined. Though, once again, you gotta remember that it's delivering a lot of damage before the battle is joined. So, there's that. Plus, that type of damage has more value. So, anyway, very nice. At least this way we avoid taking too much damage to the army. And I was actually tempted to raise the place. We can always trade it to somebody. I have to wonder how much Clan Eshin will pay us for it. As in, we may want to ally with them, as long as they don't hold any dark fortresses, in order to... Wait, there's some... Huh, we can't trade them directly? Why? Oh, we're not technically... Well, we are bordering them. Their capital is Xingpo, or at least it used to be, and we are bordering them, but because we don't know that they're there, it's acting as if we can't trade them that? It's a little bit odd, but okay, fine. Really leaning into the whole, these are ruins and we don't know what's there thing, and because nobody could possibly know that they're full of Skaven. Anyway, you, Hivold Painbringer, our exalted hero soon to be of Khorne. Oh, and since you're an exalted hero of Khorne, with that brass collar of Khorne, we... Oh. Have these guys destroy... Wait. Yeah, they're fighting the puppets of Misrule. Oh, you better not kill Village. Oh no, wait. Oh, we don't know Village, so we don't know how strong he is. It's fairly unlikely that they take the Red Fortress, I would say. But it looks like the Chaos Dwarfs are closing in on him. You know what, Hivold, maybe take a look at what's going on here, as we may have to rush over here with Kuchar. Unexpectedly. But anyway, Savage Blood... No, you know what? If we're rushing anywhere, we're going for Root Marcher, then we can get Savage Bloodlust. And I guess we'll have to have a hero go to Xingpo, so we could trade it with the Skaven. Please don't be holding... Ah, wait. Po Mei. They may be holding a Dark Fortress here. Oh, bunch of Tzeentch corruption as well. Okay, by the fact that there's a bunch of Tzeentch corruption around, it looks like the Dark Fortresses here aren't being, aren't being held by the Skaven. Well, this one actually might be, but it's not the issue. It looks like Village will survive, or at least he will, in a Cathay, even if he loses the Red Fortress. So we're good, is what I'm getting at. As Azazel keep on staying there for a little bit, we're going to, I was about to say end the turn, but we may be able to afford a few buildings. Namely... Let's just see here. Vlag, rather, you have the money buildings. We can upgrade the expensive money building, but at 4.8k, it's a little bit steep. Just gotta get the more important buildings that we're missing right now. Shangyang be a while before we can upgrade you. Monolith is fine. We don't need any of these things. Veil of Titans and Blood Peak, we will trade you. Same with all of that stuff. Same with all of this stuff. All of this will be traded, but right now it's not a priority, and it looks like we're saving the money. Still not enough Chaos Warriors of Khorne to warrant building you. Although it would be nice to get furs in order to specifically be able to get more upgrades for our not Chaos Warriors, but Marauders. Also, Archaon, you look like you're about to have a good fight. And I think I'm actually going to keep these Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. I know one unit is weird, but I kind of like the idea still of Asavar here having him. Asavar. Huh. Oh, damn, so when you do change their forms, their names do change back. Don't they? Well, that's going to be a mild irritant. Okay, I'm gonna have to try vainly to pay, or in vain, to pay attention to who is named what. Alright, you're going back to the Chronicler, sir. Which also does sound like a very Zintian name, and okay, good, alright. Well, you won't change forms again, so hey, you're good. Plus, I like these, other than the waste of Kindle Flame. Let's get your Fires of Change, and at least this way you have 3 passives. Could have been 4, like a legendary lord, if only you were a lore of metal instead of a lore of fire, but oh well. Outposts and stuff we'll ignore for now, keep that money. And we're headed to the Haunted Forest. Let's hope that Mr. GHORST revives this turn, and let's hope that this becomes a Nakai army. And Deathmaster Snitch is allied to the Puppets of Misrule and the Blessed Dread. I don't know whether we'll be keeping the Blessed Dread alive, but we very well might. The thing about them is there's some units that we could certainly use from them. These guys are willing to trade with us as well. On the other hand, maybe we want to vassalize them, in which case we don't want to do this. Minus 62, eh? Join war against the Western Provinces puts us down to 56k. It's not enough. And trading a settlement probably won't be worth that much. But you know what, we'll wait and see. These guys probably have a ton of territories, and I don't want to waste 8 years forcing them to be subjugated. We can do a vassalage, and hey, Helmengorst has a full stack plus the stack that's defending the Haunted Forest. That sounds like an actual proper battle for Archaon. Allegiance with the Disciples of Hashut? Sure. I mean, yeah, we could get more souls, but frankly, it'll be a while before we can use them, as we don't have access to Gifts of Chaos right now anyway, or at least not the ones that we want for this. Test Vassal. Archaon, you're gonna have a nice fight here. I'm wondering whether we should summon a couple of units. Could summon another Dragon Ogre, but I think Kolek doesn't need to reinforce here. I think we can start sending Kolek through Catha. Still not Nakai. I'm decently sure that these guys are going to try to attack Scrap Towers, but if they do, that'll just be them declaring war on us. Nakai himself, his own horde must be still alive somewhere, doesn't it? And we'll keep an eye on him. I would very much like the defeat trade. But anyway, GHORST, it's time to die, my friend. Let's level up Harald Hammerstorm and let's get in there. We are going to... Renowned Enemy Leadership Reduction. I think we just keep going through Heroic Killing Blow. I still haven't decided which of these I want, though I'm still somewhat leaning towards Chaos Strategist for the healing. But anyway, for now, we're okay. Go. Time for a big old fight. All those poison-dealing super zombies of Helmengorst. Plus, he has a fairly decent garrison. A couple of Black Knights units. 3 Black Knights units, in fact. Some Morghuls, the Black Coach, and the Terrorgeist will be of concern. And the Armor Piercing of the Graveguard, of course. We can... Wait. A curiosity. It's actually not worth much in terms of sack value, surprisingly, despite being tier 4. And yeah, he won't be vassalized. We could subjugate him and just keep him here. But I don't want to deal with his corruption, that's the thing. Also, you two really don't like each other. Yeah, no, we're probably just gonna destroy him anyway. I don't want our vassals hating on each other because it'll create problems down the line. I tried in Village's campaign. I tried it. I vassalized the Western provinces and I gave them 1,000,000 territories and they were still at like minus 1,000, which was frankly ridiculous. So it's not worth the bother, especially with them possibly seceding at any moment. Away we go to fight GHORST. Alrighty, here we go. An absolutely massive pile of the dead stand before us, and a very nice looking map. Dead marshes sort of place, in addition to the very nice lighting here as well. It's looking like we're gonna get some fantastic shots in this particular battle. Anyway, the battle begins with our Hell Cannon firing upon the enemy while the units of Marauder horses annoy the enemy Black Knights, who managed to catch up, and due to probably the Marauder horsemen just getting in each other's way. They are faster than the Black Knights, but still take a few hits by virtue of that. And the fact that the skirmish mode does activate a little bit too late, oftentimes. Not to worry, it's not a huge concern, as they won't take a lot of damage, and on top of that, both Archaon and Prince Ograx are moving in to counter the enemy. I have a feeling that if we want to keep those Knights of Tzeentch to be acting as the personal guard of the Chronicler here, we could get a unit of Skull Crushers to act as the personal guard of Prince Ograx, and then the rest of the army can be undivided. I kind of like that sort of dynamic there. But anyway, these two will be dueling some enemy knights, which I'm sure they can both appreciate. Archaon brings 2 or 3 down with a single swipe of the Slayer of Kings. And I'm sure Uzul is celebrating in there. Or, you know, screaming in pain. Hard to say. Hard to say what you're feeling like when you're trapped in the blade. He's probably happy when the blade gets the drink. Anyway, the enemy Terrorgeist has separated itself from the rest of the army by the looks of it, wanting to go after the Marauder Horsemasters, but this is not a great idea for it. The Marauder Horsemasters are quite fast, and their javelins are anti-large, so they can focus this thing down fairly quickly. And it's gonna pop that Terrorgeist scream, but it's looking like it's a scream of desperation. Archaon moves in because he wants the biggest threat on the field as well, but on top of that, to distract it for a few more seconds as the javelins of the Marauder Horsemasters are thrown. Alright, come on, get another couple of volleys in there. Mr. Hammerstorm tries to help in, but once again too late to actually get to the fight. Sorry, Harry, not to worry though. You can command the infantry. We've also got a pretty good position since the enemy has much larger piles of units than they do. We've set up with this sort of impassable terrain on our flanks, and these woods protecting us sort of on this flank as well, and allowing us to hide our knights, which originally deployed here, came out and to menace the enemy a little bit, and then are going to move back in. This also completely protects our Hell Cannon, or at least that's the dream. So these guys will hopefully hold under the onslaught of the dead. They will, however, be holding without Archaon because he is bored. He wants to fight the Terrorgeist, only slightly scratch that itch, so he's going through the enemy army towards GHORST himself. Ooh, and I like that Hell Cannon shot dropping by nearby. Gonna hit Archaon with a Spirit Leech. I believe without the Eye of Shirian, he won't have the crazy amount of spell resistance, although 20% ain't too bad. He's gonna head directly for GHORST rather, and they're going to exchange Spirit Leeches and then meet on the field of battle. This is a horrifically bad matchup for GHORST, who takes more than half of his HP in a single blow. Why did he even lose that much HP? What the heck? He lost 3.5 HP with a single attack, maybe a little bit less as the Spirit Leech was hitting him, whereas, oh, it was the charge bonus on top of everything. Because I was like, Archaon isn't hitting for 3.5k, but yeah, between hitting fairly hard and the Spirit Leech, it should be pretty easy to bring GHORST down. GHORST will summon some zombos to try to help him out, but too little too late. A couple more hits, or one more hit, and he will go down. In fact, he's already down, and the Spirit Leech plus Crumbling will break him. Damn. Aw, and Dorgar's happy. Great shots of Archaon already. There you go, buddy. Alright, I should stop with the slow motion. Or should I stop with the slow motion? Because I am most definitely enjoying this, and at least we're not missing the main battle while that's happening. Speaking of the main battle, the enemy forces are moving in slowly but surely, and we will soon be in the fight proper. The battle hasn't really begun, even if the enemy commander already lies broken upon the field. Here come some skeletons daring to strike at the aspiring champions, who will be able to whack several of them apart with every swing of their swords. And a few Fellbats moving in as well, but they are no threat whatsoever to the aspiring champs. Black Knights moving around the flanks, or at least as flanky as they can be here, but one of our 2 Chaos Giants will move in and start helping out against these larger units. There we go. Very, very nice. So the Giant's going to help to anchor the line like this. A pink Fire of Tzeentch coming in from the Chronicler. The other Giant rock, paper, scissorsing some Crypt Horrors here as well. And I'm pretty sure there he is. Harry the Hammer in there as well. Looking to try to not get blocked by all his infantry piles of units. Alright, there's that piercing bolts of burning bombardment armor ability, army ability coming down on a big blob of enemies, and the balance of power already has switched to about 80% in our favor. Over on this side, Prince Ogrex has been distracting a unit of Black Knights and allowing our units of Marauder Horse Masters to hit those Black Knights in the back once again with their anti-large javelins. Plenty of rock, paper, scissors going around in this particular battle. On this flank, we decided to, well, start moving in to flank the enemy, but the Swords of Chaos and the Knights of Tzeentch are trapped a little bit against these skeleton spears, and are thus going to have to manually work their way through them. Not that it's a problem, mind you. And before they return to the battle proper and hit the enemy in the flanks and back. More skeleton warriors are here, but the Black Knights are dead, and Prince Ogrex can hold and enjoy himself, together with his Juggernaut. Too bad you can't name individual mounts as well. Frankly, and you know what, that's actually really too bad. Would they really need to give us back the ability to name armies? Why don't they have the ability to name armies in this particular game? I just don't understand it. And I know that's a lot of features from some of the older titles we're missing, and that's fine to some degree, as in I'm pretty happy with a lot of the features in the game, generally speaking, and not every feature needs to be in every single version of every game, as feature creep can be not such a great thing either. But naming armies seems like such an easy thing to have, and a thing I personally really enjoyed. Alrighty, well, regardless of that little army name rant, we are still holding ground, though it's not being too much of a problem. Archaon returns to the fray to go after that poor Black Coach, and the Black Coach basically dies, or explodes, after getting hit once by Archaon, and then crumbling away. Archaon also arrives with an immediate activation of Flaming Sword of Ruin, buffing up the rest of the army, and allowing for that fire damage on everybody around. Although the fire damage actually is irrelevant because Harry the Hammer does it for us. But still, it's the principle of the thing, and the additional damage is nice as well. Archaon gonna bring some searing doom upon the enemy skeletons, but the battle by and large is over. Everybody is good in terms of HP. We actually did fairly well here, no problem. Not enough armor piercing on the enemy army to really threaten us here. But it's not really... I mean, it's really, really worth it to be here for the defeat trait of Helman Ghorst. I'm really glad that he came back up. This makes it just as much worth it for him to have come here, and just as it was to go and kill Boris Ursus early on. And this is what I was talking about, the Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. Isn't it nice that our sorcerer has a personal guard, and wouldn't it be nice to have those Skull Crushers for Prince Ogrex? Anyway, I mean, Archaon gets his Swords of Chaos after all. Anyway, battle is very much ours, and one I'm very happy with. Alright, there we go. Man, do I love fighting the vampire counts, and we're gonna have a lot of fun with Vlad once we head through to Sylvania, though by the looks of it, Ghorst here is done, which does make sense. We're not gonna vassalize it vassalize him or subjugate him. We're just going to let him go. From a loreful perspective, the undead are generally speaking, there are some exceptions, but generally speaking not particularly compatible with chaos. Chaos is generally the worst form of immortality. Everything that chaos offers, power, immortality, etc., is already available to vampires without most of the issues that comes with it. Yeah, they've got the Nagash issue, but that's probably not as bad as the Chaos Gods issue. So, nonetheless, generally why there's no point for most of the vampires to become corrupted, most of them. We all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, damn you, End Times lore. Hellman GHORST, you are done. And, oh, we don't even have the option to do that. Huh, well, that's funny. I wonder how much, if we sack it, how much it would cost to repair it. It's 2.8k, and it's not like we're looking to hold the territory. It's not a dark fortress. You know what, sack it, we'll see. We can always just trade it. Okay, good. Ooh, I thought you didn't have enough room to move. The casualty replenishment rate, however, is very, very valuable. Now, there we go. Now we just kill the Fey Enchantress to give us an extra 10% casualty replenishment rate. We'd have plus 25 just for the army alone. So it was worth coming down here and just for that alone. Anyway, we're going to occupy the place, and good. Nice. Haunted Forest secured, and it would cost us less to repair it than it would to sack it. Lovely. And oh, I didn't realize that the Haunted Forest had a cultist camp, which means we are keeping it, not transferring it. But we'll leave it there. I don't know if it's one of the ones that'll repair itself, but I'm just gonna hope that it will. Go for exploit vassals. We'll hopefully make it cheaper, and then we'll switch it to... There's no faction-wide ones, is there? Unfortunately not. I assume the Portent of Doom hero recruit rank isn't faction-wide, it's only for this province. A lot of the SFO factions have commandments that are a little bit helpful to some degree faction-wide, like the orcs with their post-battle loot and whatnot, but apparently this is not one of them. Anyway, MALUS, where be ye? Ah, you're headed to the Monolith of Catan. Now, the question is, can we reach it? And the answer is, by the looks of it, maybe? No, the answer is no. Alright, well that's just fine. He can land and he can reach us, which I'm certainly willing to allow him to do. So we're gonna head to the Monolith. And if he wants to land and attack us in the field, that's just fine. We'll leave Serpent Jetty alone, though we will trade it to... Wait, are you at war with MALUS right now? No, you're not. Fantastic, meaning we can trade you the Serpent Jetty and now not even have to worry about it being attacked. Thank you, and give us more money. we're just gonna use Wulfric to fund our stuff, cause why not, right? If he wants to keep giving us money. This is really reminding me of Thorek in my Krog-Gar campaign, just getting like hundreds of thousands of gold from him throughout the campaign, keeping him completely useless, but funding our empire. Alright, anyway, Kolek, you are going through Cathayan territories, or wait. Well, we're not going to attack them, but there's a lot of territory up here that I just don't think Kuchar will want to deal with on his own. And while we could raid through Cathayan territory, if we march stance, there's a decent likelihood that they'll just attack us. Although, our money is looking okay, we'll be able to build some buildings and maybe even get Kolek some... Okay, well, we'll just go to the edge of this territory. Maybe get Kolek a few units, and aha, yeah, there's a stack here. They could suddenly declare war on Kolek. I could get another Dragon Ogre, though it'll be 1,000 extra gold as compared to the cost of getting same said Dragon Ogre with Archie. And get him some Marauders, but those are non-monstrous units, and it just feels wrong, doesn't it? Also, a little bit tempted by the poison of a few of the Manticore units. Chaos Trolls aren't super expensive to recruit, but the armored Chaos Trolls, which are much better, are more expensive than the Dragon Ogres are, even if only slightly. You know what, let's get a few Marauders just to fill out the roster a little bit for Kolek. We'll delete them or possibly even transfer them to another army out in Cathay. There we go, decision made. Kuchar, you are moving through the Warpstone Desert. And, oh man, it's all Okay, wait, if you go into raiding stance, how far can you go? Can you go into this territory? Yes, you can. So head to the Shrine of the Alchemist and raiding. We'll ignore the... Okay, don't collect the income here. We'll ignore the Skaven for now. Just to double check them, though. Defensive Alliance, no. Military Access Clan Eshin. -1 still, eh? And they are willing to trade, but they're probably not willing to vassalize. -20 on the Servants of the Conclave, -60 on Clanish, and they're too strong right now. Might do a defensive alliance with them, or just an alliance with them in general. Hey, you sir, keep moving around here. We're gonna send you through the Bastion, but at the same time, I'd like to see how Village is doing. And he's actually doing okay. I thought he had lost more territory.
Of course.
You currently have 5 territories. Okay, so that's not so bad. As in, we should be able to reasonably well, I think, take him out. 5 settlements. Alright, alright. Anyway, let's ignore him for now, as we don't have anybody to subjugate him for a while, and Azazel has to sit until MALUS makes a move. Let's then not end the turn, but see if we can spend a little bit of money. And also be careful about our places rebelling. Alright, so you're fine currently in the Tower of Crack. I'm gonna get these Chaos Shrines up and running everywhere. Carrick Doom, I'm not going to upgrade to the next level of the Bone Pit, as it's not worth it right now. Carrick of Lag, you can either do a Bone Pit or the Vassal Emissary. There's not a lot of stuff around you, so you probably won't make too much money, so maybe we'll prioritize the Corpse Mound / Bone Pit first. Writhing Fortress, do we just spend that 4 point... You know what, just spend the 4.8k. Get it up to level 3. We need these upgraded everywhere. And I guess we'll do the same thing at Challenge Stone. I could see us getting down to about 15k, so let's spend the rest of that. You, yes, up to level 2, most definitely. And... we could do Vassal Emissary here. That'll... Well, actually, it'll only buff up, let's say... and actually won't buff up only 2 settlements. Neither one of them being coastal at that. Might not be worth it here. I'm meaning maybe it'll be worth it more to build a Chaos Shrine here and get another Sorcerer, but also get the additional money from them. Fine. Let's do that, Sorcerer. Ivory Road we will ignore for now. Same with you, same with you, same with you, same with you. Until we're ready to build all those. We are not ready to trade stuff here. Haunted Forest, not ready to build, and Shangyang, not ready to upgrade. Alright. But at least you're growing. And we should be able to upgrade you next turn. Looks good to me. Let's end the turn. Let's see if MALUS comes a-calling for the forces of Nurgle, especially considering that the... Anyone military access? No. Especially considering that the first fight against the Dark Elves was relatively easy. Come a-calling he will. Now, the Medusa is going to be an issue. We'll have to try to assassinate her as best we can with our 2 Chaos Feral Manticores. They also have Black Arc support, which is going to be scary, especially for Berserk units. MALUS himself is going to have to be left to last, because in Sarkhan form, he's just absolutely bonkers, and one of the more difficult lords to bring down in the game, more difficult than Malekith. And then there's the Cold One Knights, which are buffed up by MALUS as well, being a Cold One breeder as he is, but I think we should be able to handle them. Just surround them with doggos as soon as they are engaged with the Forsaken. Away we go. Man, I'm really gonna miss Gulator's speeches someday. I gotta appreciate a lord that's willing to give a proper speech pre-battle. Anyway, here we go. MALUS Darkblade is on the field, and Darkblades may be flawed things, but he's still a heck of a fighter. It's Slaanesh versus Nurgle this time around. I do believe this is MALUS's starting army as well, judging by the fact that he has those Cold One Knights and the Scourge Runners and the Blood Rack Medusa. He also has a Master with him, which I take it is the one that he started with. Yeah, Bane. I think that's the one he always starts with. Although I think it would be an easy adjustment to make his starting companion one of his actual warband companions. You have like at least 5 very viable names to choose from. But anyway. It's a little bit odd that they decided to make MALUS's companions into ancillaries rather than direct units. I think Hawklear deserves to be a hero, doesn't he? And you damn well should. Anyway, we are in it now. Here we go. The Forsaken have arrived to fight the enemy. The Miasma Pestilence comes down upon the Scourge Runners and the Medusa, and we gotta make sure to distract said Medusa. Black Ark support coming down, as well as the Frolicking Bubonicers. This unit's name is gonna get hit by it, and it's going to be absolutely devastating to the unit, which means we're going to run it towards our Exalted Hero and activate our heals. Over on this flank, we're sending 1 unit down with the sickness to deal with Malus himself, just to sit there and distract him, while the rest of our units fight the enemy. We've managed to catch out one of the Cold One Knights that was with Malus, and we're gonna hit it in the back with 2 of our doggos, and a unit of Forsaken and Marauders and the Blister Boys to make sure that they get ripped apart. While over on the rightmost flank, the same thing happened with our 2 Manticores catching the Cold One Knights and forcing them to be surrounded by everything else, and also poisoning them enough so that everything can make sure to catch them. Once those 2 are done, we'll switch to other targets like the Medusa and all the range units, but hopefully the Forsaken can keep the enemy distracted long enough for our fast movers to get engaged. Alright, and there we go. I do believe the Locus of Fecundity is active, so it should keep the Frolicking Bubonicers up and running for now, and continuing to apply their lethal poison to the enemy nearby. Need more sources of the lethal poison, not just the regular poison, although the doggos do provide that as well. I think. Yes, alright, had to just double check. Alrighty, enemy Dread Spears and Bleak Swords probably not having the best day here, especially being in the center line while Malus is nowhere to be found. The Scourge Runners are pretty much dead, and here come the 2 Manticores to go after the enemy Medusa, as well as the enemy Master, and ooh, nice Black Ark support, sending plenty of our units flying, but a little bit too late, I think. Mostly because the doggos and the other fast movers are in the fight now and hitting the enemy in the back and running down those units that are routing. More Black Ark support coming down, and damn these guys, we gotta sink those Black Arks unless we have to deal with this for the rest of the fights with Malus, though fortunately, because of the relatively low levels of the Black Arks, they don't do a crazy amount of damage, even if it is sufficient to annoy us. Anyway, by the looks of it, the balance of power is about 80% in our favor, and the battle is going very much our way. The enemy center line has effectively collapsed, and we can see our doggos running around in the background, just catching everything that tries to rat. Malus is transformed to Archaon now, and is still taking on the Down with the Sickness and the Blister Boys, who have decided to keep here for now, and just to damage him a little bit. Though generally, the best way to deal with Malus is not to do this, especially because he can mince infantry and keep healing with more units around him. Not to worry though, once the rest of his army is dead, we'll send our specialists to deal with him. And oh damn, he's gonna drop Black Ark support on himself as well. Damn. AI, how dare you? I tend to avoid doing that myself, so as not to screw with the AI too much, or at least tend to avoid it when it's just sending heroes and stuff on their own, since the enemy tends to blob up around, so how dare you, AI. Anyway, looks like the rest of Malus's army has routed, so only Malus remains. We can send Down with the Sickness out, who have most definitely served their purpose here in distracting him, and it's time for the Manticore to be the first in. The other Manticore is chasing the enemy Master down, who would hurt, and here comes our Lord and Hero and the Marauders with great axes as well. We need the armor piercing here more than we need the relative lack thereof of the Forsaken. And Gulator has arrived, his heroes moving in as well, and Bloodstorm aside, and Reaper of Souls aside. That's a lot of elites hitting MALUS. On top of that, MALUS is pretty heavily debuffed down to only 17 melee defense due to the combination of Blight Swarm and the Plague of Nurgle. His weapon strength remains at 1,000, however, despite the debuffs. And we really gotta bring him down. He's a toughie. He's definitely a toughie. And he's brought down one of our Manticores to about half of its HP, though we did have another Locus of Fecundity available. And hey, the heck was that? Alright, is he going to try to go after Gulator now? Perhaps he is, but I think it's a little bit late as he has 100 HP, and finally Spite goes down, and MALUS/Sarkhan will fall. Very nice. Very nice indeed. Showing... MALUS definitely showing off, though the rest of his army collapsed fairly quickly. Well, damn, one of the Black Ark Corsairs escaped, but otherwise that went very well. We were able to distract MALUS, or, well, really, Sarkhan, for pretty much the entire battle, only coming around to destroy him once the rest of the enemies had been, or once the rest of his army had been destroyed, preventing him from using Reaper of Souls and his other abilities on big blobs of units. And while he did damage one of our units of Forsaken, it's very worthwhile to keep him out of the rest of the fighting. Our 2 units of Manticores were very instrumental in the victory as well, capturing one of the units of Cold One Knights and forcing it to get hit by Hounds and Forsaken, then moving on to destroy the enemy Medusa, and then hunting down the Master before going after MALUS. And just like in the other campaigns, these guys have been very helpful in acting as assassins, and I expect them to continue to be as such. 162 kills, 23k damage on the Abominable Nomen. Fantastic. And 172 on you, Forsaken of Nurgle. I'll get another name for you out of my list. I guess we're probably going to have 6 Forsaken in this army. Reasonable likelihood. And 17k damage on the Frolicker's Bubonic, or Bubonicking. Frolicking Bubonicers. Oh, this frickin' name. But they're gonna go to Festus and not stay in this army. Plenty of damage on the various doggos. Looks like the Bubonic Howlers in this particular case got the most kills, but it was the Hounds of Pestilence that got the most damage, with the Rottweilers not too far behind. Nice work to everybody as well. Ooh, wow, 12k damage on the failed experiments. A lot of this being from the Cold One Knights that they spent attacking. Nice battle is what I'm getting at. We're gonna take the money and 3.5k plus 4k out of that. Very much worth our time. And that'll enable us to build more of those favor buildings and keep getting more money. Ah, Siggy. What you want? Defensive alliance? Nobody? No, we're gonna have to confederate you, and we're gonna have to hit you until you confederate. Military alliance with... Wow, Festus going straight to the military alliance. No. We're gonna come down there, too. Dungrut. The... Magathkin. Still not willing to become a vassal? Alright. This is... This might come back to bite you if we get too late in the campaign to the point that allegiance won't make much of a difference. I'm not gonna bother. USAC want to trade, but they are the vassal of Village, and we're going to declare war on Village. So I guess we shouldn't bother doing this, unless we ask somebody to declare war on Village, in which case this guy might not join it. He may be willing to give us some money for this. And it'll be at least 10 turns or so until... Yeah, fine, do this for now. Hopefully it doesn't count as breaking agreements once we attack Village, although I fear that it might. Anyway, there we are. We are unfortunately now out of time, so I am going to have to call the episode here. Defeated MALUS Darkblade makes Gulator lose armor, but gain 100 weapon damage, which ain't too bad considering his armor is pretty hefty. Anyway, though when he's on a Chaos War Shrine, the loss of armor will actually be detrimental, though I haven't yet decided whether we're definitely putting him on the shrine or not. Either way, next time we will take the Monolith of Catan. In fact, we're going to do that this time, but
Desecration is coming.
Probably with an auto-resolve, yeah. Alright, and of course it hurt the poor Blister boys. Tremendously rude. Occupy. Alright, so next time we won't take the Monolith of Catan because we took it just now, but, ooh. Obsidian missile strength for Marauder horses and Marauder horsemaster. That's okay. It's not a particularly important one, I would think, but hey, more trade goods. And ooh, Forbidden Rod. Now that's fantastic. We're gonna replace the Scroll of Aramar immediately with the Forbidden Rod on you because you're gonna be getting heals aplenty from the rest of the army. We also got another Crown of Command, and I don't care for the Crowns of Command. Actually, wait, that's not quite true. For most factions, I don't care for them, but for demons, it may be useful to prevent them from starting to disintegrate. Immunity to contact effects also ain't bad for the bronze armor of Jurak, although the rest of the armor is kind of meh. Have to think about who we put that on. Yeah, I'm gonna take a while to heal up, eh? I wish we had that GHORST defeat trait on you as well, sir, but, well, we'll get to it. Ooh, one more turn until we get our first gift of Nurgle as well, which will probably be regeneration in enemy territories. Azazel. Huh? Are you... What the heck? This is a port that doesn't work as a port? What gives? What is this? Look at this. He can't... Huh, I think this might be a bug. Maybe Admiral Leech counts as if he's blockading? What? No, oh, for the love of... That was really weird. I don't know what the heck is going on. Huh. Alright, well, there's some issue with the Varg camp, but whatever, it won't matter. We'll chase him down, and Azazel has to start moving now. Anyway, we'll probably be able to afford getting a few more Marauders, not of the Slaneshi variety, but any variety will do while we move. Anyway, next time, as I was trying to get to before I interrupted myself like 50 times, Archaon will leave the Haunted Forest and probably stop on by to destroy this little lizard army, just because it looks like a fun fight, and then start working on the Legion of Asgore, hopefully before they die. They've got 4 settlements remaining. We just gotta make sure nobody kills Pig Barter. And we also gotta figure out where their 4th settlement is, because we see 3 out of 4. They'll hopefully... Oh, it's right here. Hopefully by the time we get there, Imric will have taken that one, and we just have Pig Barter to worry about and vassalize. I am salivating at the thought of getting magma cannons, and to some lesser degree the Iron Demons, and to some lesser degree the Skullcrackers in our armies. Frankly, all of them. I really want more Chaos Dwarf stuff, because I had a blast with them during the Zatan campaign. Anyway, I need to shut up. Battle's over, episode's over, more stuff to come. Stay tuned, don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially to Threshold. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.